Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Tom.
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
It is our TOEIC unit for the month of June. Just in time for our TOEIC unit because June is quickly running out here. We've just got a couple of days left. So we thought we would do our TOEIC lesson at the end of June because, hey, we're saving the best for last. And, somebody out there, some of you out there may consider a career in telemarketing, okay? And I don't know if a lot of people actually want to do that, to make a bunch of phone calls to people to try to sell them things. And they're going to get lots and lots of rejections. And they're probably going to be spoken to in a very rude manner. Why are you calling now? I'm having dinner. Leave me alone. Leave us alone. Never call again. But some people do have to do this. And telemarketing is very much part of the economy. And I think it's also referred to as cold calling.
It sure is. I always wonder if these telemarketers who are making these cold calls, if they ever have success. I do know that my dad sometimes will just keep talking to people because he likes to talk to people. I think older people who are lonely or bored will often talk to them. Although my dad tends to not even pick up the phone if he can see it's a telemarketer number. I have an app that's called Who's Call, and it will tell me that most people block the call, so I know not to pick up. So you might want to think about getting that on your phone. Yeah, getting cold feet on cold calling. It's not an easy thing to do, for sure. You have to face a lot of rejection, even though you're not looking at the person face to face.
Sure.
So we're going to play different characters today. Tom's going to be Rick, which is a guy's name, and I'm going to be Elise.
The company chairperson just sent me the statistics for our new cold calling venture.
Did we reach the milestones that our CEO set?
I'm afraid we didn't. In fact, it is costing us a lot of money.
To be honest, I've spoken with our sales staff, and they aren't so enthusiastic about the program.
Why is that?
Many employees are lacking confidence because it's the first time they've tried cold calling. Also, they're uncomfortable because many people get annoyed with them and hang up.
I can sympathize with that, but I truly believe that cold calling can really boost our business in the long run.
It certainly is a cost-effective way to reach potential customers if it's done correctly.
We should probably rethink our cold calling operation. Do you have any suggestions?
I think we need to provide more training for our salespeople.
I agree. We may also need to revise our sales script a bit.
Maybe we should bring in an outside consultant who specializes in this kind of sales. In fact, an old acquaintance of mine runs a cold calling call center. She's really successful in this field.
Great! Let's set up a meeting with her and get her opinion on our program. Do you think she would be interested in setting up a workshop to help train our employees?
That's certainly possible. Let me give her a call this afternoon.
Okay, let's dive right into this and explain some things for you. The title of the article for today is Getting Cold Feet on Cold Calling. Interesting use of the word cold there because we have two slang phrases that do use the word cold. Getting cold feet. If you have cold feet or if you are getting cold feet, that means you're kind of afraid to do something. You're supposed to do that thing, but later you think, well, maybe I don't really want to do that or maybe I don't have to or something like that. Like back in high school, I was supposed to ask Pretty Dawn out for a date, but I thought she doesn't like me. I'm kind of ugly, and her father's the coach of the basketball team, and she's not going to want to go out with me. So yeah, I got cold feet. I kind of chickened out.
Yeah, that was going to be my example. Usually you get cold feet if you like someone and you think, I'm going to ask him out for this weekend. And then you just think, no, I can't do it. And you chicken out. That's what we say, you chicken out. So we've got the company chairperson has just sent Rick the statistics for their new cold calling venture. A chairperson, of course, is the CEO. I'm guessing here. Usually we just say CEO. Statistics refers to the math or the science where you collect a lot of different data and you have large quantities of data, and then you look for conclusions or maybe some tips on what's going on by the proportions you see. So maybe your statistics show you that 10 out of 100 people will actually talk to someone if they're cold called at home. That would be 10%. That's a statistic.
Exactly, some kind of figures that we can make some conclusions from. We do research, we ask people questions, and, what's your income, how many people are in your family, stuff like that, and we can gather some statistics. And so here, of course, Rick says the company chairperson sent him some statistics for the new cold calling venture. So a venture here is just some kind of business operation that you're doing. It could involve all sorts of things. It could be some kind of business venture in Thailand, for example. Maybe you're trying to open a market there or something like that, and you're partnering with some companies there. But in this particular case, it's a new project in their company that involves cold calling. I guess their company wants to increase their sales through telemarketing.
Yeah, I also wanted to mention, if you use this word venture, you get the feeling that there's a little bit of a risk involved. You're not sure you're going to make money off of it. Venture capitalists are people who have a lot of money who are willing to fund new companies or new organizations. They're risking money because they don't know if that company will ultimately be successful. So Elise says, did we reach the milestones that our CEO set? Milestones in a business are goals you set, and you have smaller goals along the way before you actually finish the project. And Rick says, I'm afraid we didn't. In fact, it's costing us a lot of money. So their venture's costing the company money, but they're not having much success, so they're not bringing in any money. So yeah, it's not very successful right now.
Yeah, I guess they need to pay the employees more to do this or to work overtime or something like that. So, of course, they're probably not experienced. So lots of people are saying, no, I'm not interested. Don't call me again. And they're not getting enough return on their investment. So here, Elise says, to be honest, I've spoken with our sales staff and they aren't so enthusiastic about the program. So if you're a sales staff, of course, you're used to selling things. But I think if you work on a sales staff, you probably don't really want to be doing cold calling.
Well, you usually have regular customers, right? That you contact.
Yeah, who wants to talk to strangers on the phone?
Right.
And those people are not going to like you. They're going to be mean to you and stuff like that. Of course, I could understand why their employees aren't enthusiastic about the program. They're really not interested in doing cold calling.
Yeah, they're uncomfortable because a lot of people, like many of us out there, get annoyed with them and hang up. It's usually because they're calling at dinner time or early in the morning. That's not good. Well, Rick says, I can sympathize with that. So he feels some sympathy for the sales team that they have there trying to do cold calling. If you sympathize with somebody, you listen to them and you can agree with how they're feeling. You understand how they're feeling. But he says, I truly believe that cold calling can really boost. Boost here just means increase, push something up, increase our business in the long run. The short term, probably they're going to lose money, but he feels like in the long term or the long run, you can use either phrase, that they'll actually come out ahead and make some money off this venture.
Exactly. So, yeah, it's understandable that cold calling could actually be successful. They're not just doing it to annoy people. They're actually trying to come up with some more business.
Sure.
And Elise says here, yes, it certainly is a cost-effective way to reach potential customers if it's done correctly, if it's done right. If you don't do it right, if the callers don't know what they're doing, of course, no one's going to be interested in their product and they're going to hang up on them and you're not going to get new business and it's going to lose money. So if you make money, if you invest money in some kind of project, in your employees or whatever, and then you get money back in return, you get more money than you spent in the first place, then we're describing that situation as being cost effective. You you've actually made money.
Yeah. Rick said we should probably rethink our cold calling operation. If you rethink something, you kind of step back and do some analyzing and figuring out how you can make something work better. Maybe it's not quite as successful as you want it to be. And Rick asked Elise if she has any suggestions, and she thinks they need to provide more training for their salespeople. Again, typically, if you're doing cold calling, you're not called a salesperson, you're called a telemarketer. You're on the telephone with people. Salespeople are just used to working with most of their clients that they've known for a while. Of course, they're going to be trying to find new clients, but they're going to be trying to meet people one-on-one or face-to-face. On the phone, talking to strangers is very difficult for people. So she does have an idea. She thinks that... Well, Rick agrees, and he thinks they need to change or modify or revise their sales script. You can probably tell that these people who call you that are cold calling are reading off a script, right?
Exactly. And those are the kind of calls that would turn you off. It sounds very insincere, and I wouldn't be interested in what they have to sell, even if I needed it, okay? So, yeah, they do need to provide some more training for their salespeople. And, yeah, you need to sound like you're not reading from a script, even though you probably studied one.
What is a script, Tom?
Yeah, what's a script? Well, basically, it's just a set of words written on a page that tells you what you're going to say or what you're going to do. So, of course, if you're going to act in a play or in a movie, you need to have a script. It tells you what your role is and the words that you have to say. Basically, it's all your lines and stuff like that. So, again, they think that they need to revise their sales script a little bit, change the wording. And Elise says, well, maybe we should bring in an outside consultant who specializes in this kind of sales. So, yeah, at this point, they realize that, well, maybe we just don't know how to do this ourselves. We need to hire someone to come in here and train our employees. It needs to be a consultant, a specialist, who specializes in this kind of sales.
Yeah.
So here we've got the verb to specialize. That means they have this specific skill that very few other people have. So if you're a doctor, of course, you can be a general practitioner, but you could specialize in something else like ophthalmology or gynecology or something. You can specialize in those.
Right. So you focus your attention on a more narrow area. So, yeah, they have this outside consultant, meaning this person does not work for the company. They would be hiring this person to come in and run just kind of a training for their people there. This acquaintance of hers actually runs a cold calling call center. And she's really successful in the field. Yeah, a call center, we often hear this phrase in America. Now, I've had this experience quite a bit. Maybe you have too, Tom. I sometimes need to get a hold of my bank in America. So when I call my bank, what happens is that call doesn't go to America. It goes to a call center in India, usually, and they end up trying to answer my questions. And, it's not always easy to understand with the accent, but they're open at a time when a lot of people in America are fast asleep. So sometimes these call centers, they have to have them open 24/7 so they can call as many people as possible. And they're not always located in the country that you think they are.
Indeed. So that's Elise's suggestion here. She's got an old friend, an old acquaintance who runs a cold calling call center, and she's really successful in this field. Maybe she would be willing to come over here and give us a few tips, a few pointers.
Yeah.
And Rick says, great, let's set up a meeting with her and get her opinion on our program. Of course, they'll set up a meeting with her and they'll offer her some money for her services and things like that. And then Rick has a question for Elise. He says, do you think she would be interested in setting up a workshop to help train our employees? So yes, we'll have a meeting with her, and then maybe we can convince her or hire her to actually set up a workshop to train our employees. And that workshop would probably take place, maybe once or twice a week at night or something like that, or maybe even during office hours. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, well, she's a consultant, and that's what they often do. They often hire themselves out to other companies to make some more money. So it sounds like that's a pretty good plan there. Rick says, great. He wants to set up a meeting, get her opinion as she looks at how they're running their own cold calling venture. And he thinks he's asking Elise, who knows her, if she'd be interested. I am positive she would be interested unless she's really busy at that point doing whatever she does at her own cold calling call center. And who knows, she may be abroad, like I mentioned. A lot of the call centers are located in India. Oh, and the other day I had someone in the Philippines, which was interesting too. Yeah. Sometimes I just chat with them on the phone.
If they're willing to chat, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, they're really nice people. Or sometimes if you call your airline, like I fly with United Airlines a lot, I will often be transferred to a call center. And in that call center, they're not, actually doing cold calling. They're just answering questions customers have. They're offering service. So a call center doesn't necessarily have to be filled with people who are only telemarketers or doing cold calling.
Indeed. Okay, so again, Elise says it's possible that she could set up a workshop, and Elise says she's going to give her a call this afternoon. So yes, maybe they will set up a workshop to train those employees, and maybe, who knows, they may enjoy cold calling in the end. Okay, that brings us to the end of the first part of our lesson. We're going to take a little bit of a break right now and listen to our Chinese teacher before we come back to talk about some useful expressions and a discussion question.
大家好，我是派老师。我们今天所讲解的是 Unit 15多益单元第一天的课程内容。不知道大家常不常接到陌生人打来的行销电话？这种行销方式英文称为 cold calling， 打电话的行销人员称作 cold caller。我每个礼拜都会接到1到2通，通常是银行询问我有没有资金贷款的需求，我都是千篇一律回答没有。辛苦了，谢谢，祝你有愉快美好的一天，然后就挂断电话。我想从事这样的工作应该挫折感很重吧。第一天课程当中 Rick 和 Elise 两人针对 cold calling 有一段对话。他们公司刚开始试办 cold calling 没多久，但成效不彰，而且公司的业务人员也不太喜欢做 cold calling。两人讨论了到底该怎么改善。Elise 认为应该对业务人员再培训。I think we need to provide more training for our salespeople. 而 Rick 他则认为应该要修订电话行销的脚本。We may also need to revise our sales script a bit. Elise 又再进一步建议聘请公司外部的顾问来提供协助。Maybe we should bring in an outside consultant who specializes in this kind of sales. 好，以上就是两个人对话的内容摘要。我们现在一起看看对话里面还有哪些重要的单字片语，我们就按照他们对话的顺序来做讲解。首先，请先看到 Elise 所说的 Do we reach the milestones that our CEO set? 好，请同学把 reach the milestones 画起来。我们是否有达到执行长 CEO 所设定的里程碑？这边呢，其实就是所设定的不同阶段的目标。接下来，再请看到 Elise 她所说的部分 To be honest。好，这句话的后半部 They aren't so enthusiastic about the program。是公司内部的业务人员对于目前所进行的 cold calling， 其实呢也不是那么热衷。接下来我们再继续看到同样是 Elise 所说的部分，他说 Many employees 这个部分，那再请看到第二个句子，就是 Also they're uncomfortable because many people get annoyed with them and hang up. Get annoyed with 请画起来。当我们说我们对别人感觉到很不耐烦，我们受到他们困扰的时候呢，我们就可以说 We get annoyed。那我们觉得很烦 get annoyed with 请特别注意到这个介系词，他很受不了这些打电话来的人。那接着请看到 Rick 的回应，他表示呢，他可以理解为什么公司内部的业务人员不太想做这种 cold calling。 I can sympathize with that. I can sympathize with that. 那请同学画起来，意思就表示我 可以体会那种感受。But I truly believe that cold calling can really boost our business in the long run. 那 Rick 呢？他说他可以同理业务人员的感受，但他自己的想法是，这对业绩有帮助。Cold calling can boost our business. Boost our business， 请画起来这个词语搭配，让我们的业绩呢有所改善，那能够提升我们的业绩。接着，请一样看到 Elise 所说的 It certainly is a cost-effective way to reach potential customers. Cost-effective， 那就是我们常常讲的小个短话，那非常符合成本效益的。这个方法呢，其实让我们可以触及到潜在的客户 reach potential customers， 触及到潜在的客户。再来，请同学稍微跳多一点哦，看到 Rick 他所说的 I agree， 我同意你所说的 We may also need to revise our sales script a bit。 那我们在修订文件的时候，动词到底要用什么呢？用 revise our sales script。他们针对业务人员所要说的话，其实都写好脚本了，要重新修订 revise。 再来，我们看到同样是 Elise 所说的部分， Elise 建议公司应该要聘请外部的顾问 an outside consultant。 We should bring in an outside consultant， 应该要聘请外部的顾问。什么样的外部顾问呢？就是对于 cold selling 这方面有所专长的顾问。好，再接着 Elise 下面说 In fact, an old acquaintance of mine， 请同学把 an old acquaintance of mine 画起来，就是他认识了一个人，那也认识很久了 An old acquaintance of mine。 好，接着再请看到 Rick 所说的 Let's set up a meeting with her， 那我们来跟他碰面吧。动词我们用 set up a meeting with her。 那接下来他说见面之后，再请他针对我们所做的发表一些意见 Gather opinion on our program。 请同学把 on 这个介系词画起来，让他对什么发表意见，对什么发表的意见介系词用 on。 好，以上就是我们针对 TOEIC 这个单元第一天所做的中文讲解，谢谢大家。
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everybody. We've got some useful expressions to talk about. So here's some things we can use when talking about brainstorming, thinking about lots of ideas. The first one is, perhaps we could hire some temporary employees to work during the busy holiday season.
I think this happens naturally, at least in most countries. During the holidays, there are more consumers out there in the stores shopping, or there are more people at home, during the holiday time. So why not get people cold calling and contacting them? Perhaps you can make a few sales that way.
It's also good to hire temps because you don't have to pay, health insurance for them
benefits.
And stuff like that. Yeah, they don't have to receive benefits, or as in the case here in Taiwan. Here's another expression. Why don't we give the idea a try? I believe that it just might work. So yeah, if you're suggesting something, we use this kind of language. Well, we could do this, we could do that, or why don't we do this? Let's try that. So you're not actually expecting an answer here. It's, I guess, kind of a rhetorical question. Why don't we give the idea a try? Basically, this person is saying, we should try this idea. Hey, it just might work.
It's a little softer, though, don't you think? Instead of having someone in a brainstorming meeting just say, we should definitely do this. This person is suggesting something in a way that if others don't really like it, he won't be too embarrassed, that he offered this idea. Why don't we? Instead of, we should definitely. But if you feel strongly about it, go ahead and say it. If you're a supervisor or a CEO, of course, they're not going to say, why don't we? They probably just say, I think we should try this. This is what we should do. Now, number 3 is very close to number 2 in terms of, just saying we should give something a try. And that's, let's give it a shot. And a shot here is not a shot that a basketball player takes, in a basketball game to make the hoop. No, or that, we can speak Chinese in this one. 다전. That's a shot, getting a shot in the arm. Here it's just giving something a try. So, yeah, but this person's a little more direct. Let's give it a shot. We have nothing to lose, meaning it's not a very risky thing. Maybe there's not a lot of money at stake or money at risk. You could use either phrase that way. I think definitely hiring temp workers would be a lot cheaper than hiring full-time employees that you have to take care of in other ways beyond just a salary or an hourly rate. Some people work per hour. Yeah, I think temp workers during the holidays is a great idea.
Okay, so here comes our discussion question.
Okay.
It is, would you ever buy a product or service after receiving a cold call? Why or why not?
I actually never have before. Not in Taiwan, not in America. I want to see it. I want to touch it. I want to feel it. I want to look at it longer. And someone telling me on the phone that I don't know that something's a good product, how do I know I can trust them? So, yeah, I definitely would either prefer to look at it online and try to read reviews about it or go to the store and, actually, take it up in my hands, feel it, touch it.
Makes sense. But, if they called me and they offered something that I just happen to need that I haven't been able to find anyplace else, sure, I'll listen to them. And, of course, I'd like to see pictures of it, so they'll probably have to give me some, some information on the internet where I can do some research or something like that. So, like, for example, the sliding screen door at home has been broken for a long time.
Mine too.
If somebody called me up and said, hey, we've got this real good deal on a new sliding screen door. Would you like to buy it? It's only $1,200 NT. Oh, that sounds like a great idea. Come on over and install it for me.
Wow, I'd love to have someone call me. There are those men in the neighborhood that yell out, screens for sale. But I told my Guanyuan the other day, mosquitoes are coming in. I want a new screen door. So, Tom, please let me know if you get a cold call on screen doors.
I certainly will. And that brings us to the end of our discussion, and it brings us to the end of today's lesson. And now we're going to say goodbye, so please join us again next time because we're going to continue talking about this very subject about becoming a pro at cold calling. Please join us then. From all of us here at English Digest, I'm Tom.
I'm Stephanie.
Goodbye.
Bye.